All right, so this is the last video for section 3.4 on optimization. And governments raise money by collecting taxes. If a sales tax or an import tax is too high, trade will be discouraged and tax revenues will fall. But if the tax rate is too low, trade may flourish, but the tax revenues will again fall. So economists often want to determine the tax rate that maximizes revenue for the government, and to do this, they must first predict the relationship between the tax on an item and the total sales of the item. So suppose, for example, that the relationship between the tax rate T on an item and its total sales S is S of T equals 9 minus 20 times the square root of T. Okay? If the tax rate is 0, then the total sales would be 9. So 0% tax rate gives us 9. But if the tax rate is raised to 16%, then sales would fall to 1. Okay? So this sales is in millions of dollars. So our sales go from $9 million all the way down to $1 million by raising that tax rate 16%. So that is, raising the tax rate from 0 to 16% will discourage $8 million worth of sales. The graph of S of T as shown that how tax sales decrease as the tax rate increases. So with such information, which can be found from historical data, one can find the tax rate that maximizes the revenue. Okay, so again, we're going to maximize revenue. If economists estimate that the relationship between tax rate T on an item and total sales S of that item in millions of dollars is S of T equals 9 minus 20 times the square root of T, and this is only going to work between 0 and 0.2, so between 0 and 20% tax. We want to find the tax rate that maximizes revenue. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is find our revenue function. Well, that revenue function, that R of X, is going to be the tax rate, that T, times the total sales, so S of T. Too many parentheses there, sorry. So T times S of T. So if we plug this in, I've got T times 9 minus 20 times T to the 1/2. And simplify it out, my R of X is equal to 9T minus 20T to the 3/2. We now have our function, so we want to maximize that revenue. Okay, so I want you to pause the video and take a second and find the critical number that maximizes that revenue, and then come back and check your work. All right, so if you found the derivative, you found that R prime of X equals 9 minus 30T to the 1/2. Solving for T, you get 0.09 or 9%. Okay, we can prove that that maximizes the revenue. Sorry, I have children in the room that are laughing. We prove that this maximizes the revenue by finding the double prime, or that second derivative, and we get R double prime of 0.09 is equal to -50, which is less than 0. So this proves that the tax rate that will maximize the revenue to the government is 9%. All right, that's the end of section 3.4.